trying to explain things to the non-believers is tough because they will mock, faith,
Oh,
mock
yeah.
God. It's crazy to me. I never understood why because I'm like,
Fast Faith is proudly supported by Amanda Tucker at Carolina Triad Choice Realty. Contact Amanda today for all your real estate needs. Hey, everybody, I'm Michael Weiser. I want to thank you for joining me on another episode of Fast Faith, where speed meets the spirit. I'm excited to talk to today's guest, joining us from California via virtual interview here. So we are in the Carolina Triad Choice Realty Fast Faith studio. Amanda Tucker is one of our presenting partners. Thank you for her support and being able to do all this. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome in Jesse Iwuji. Jesse, how you doing?
hey, doing good, doing good. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. We've been trying to set this up for a while now, so but it finally got it to work out. And sometimes those are the best interviews, is when there's been something going on, because it gives
Yeah,
something even more in depth to speak about.
yeah, definitely staying busy for sure. Everything I got going on, it's just like, yeah, I'm all over the place.
Yeah. So let's start off. You have a very different way and path in which you got into to NASCAR racing and the other forms of racing that you're doing as well. A lot of people that may know your career or know of you know that you started off playing football at the Navy Academy. So kind of walk us through your early days of football and naval service, and then kind of tell us about where it was and what it was about racing that kind of got you really wanting to get into it.
Yeah, my story getting into racing is very much different than a lot of other people. Everybody has their path. Everybody has their way. The usual way is a lot of people start with go karting, then they move up to things like I don't know, like I don't know, Bandoleros, Legends, whatever it is, late models, super late models, maybe ARCA, truck, NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series, and then Cup. General progression, right? Some people come from other places. You got people coming from sports car world, the Formula car world, dirt racing. Everyone kind of comes from different places. For me, I didn't really have my beginnings were not in racing. It was in other sports like football and track. And I played football in high school, eventually got good enough to a point where I got recruited by some schools. And the school that I liked the most was the Naval Academy. And they gave me opportunity to play football for 4 years. And that was like, at that time, that was like my biggest goal and dream was to go off and play Division 1A football, and to have the opportunity to play for a Division 1A team, not just a team that actually was doing good, winning games and also going to bowl games. For me, that was like the dream come true. And then also, having an opportunity to also start as well. I didn't start my whole 4 years there, but I did start a certain period of time, and I played pretty much all 4 years. And played football. We got to play against a lot of big teams. We went and played all around the country. We played really, really big time teams. Ohio State, played Notre Dame all 4 years. We beat Notre Dame twice, almost beat Ohio State once, so that was pretty cool. But when I was graduating in 2010, football was over for me, and I wasn't going to the NFL or anything like that. So I was going into the Navy now as an officer in the Navy. So when you graduate from the Naval Academy, you're picking a different community. You prior to graduating, you pick a community to join, right? For me, I was joining the surface warfare community. So I was going to be on the ships. I was going to be deploying on ships, doing all that fun stuff. And my first 4 years in the Navy, active duty, I was on two different ships, right? So my first rotation was on a minesweeper for about 2 years or so. My second tour was on a amphib. It was USS Comstock, big LSD amphibious ship, 600 plus feet long, a lot of sailors and Marines on board. And I was on that ship for my second tour. And during those first two tours, I went on one deployment each one. So both of them were to the Arabian Gulf. I spent between both of those deployments about 15 total months in the Arabian Gulf. Basically, everywhere you hear about on the news right now with where our ships are, that's where I was. We weren't doing what they're doing now, but the threat of what was going on was still a threat then. So it's just interesting to kind of see how everything's played out over the last 16 years. It hasn't stopped. Like
Hasn't
what
changed
yeah,
much.
it hasn't changed. The threat's still there. So obviously it's now jumped into a big conflict now. But yeah, I did that, and then when I was transitioning from sea duty to shore duty, because after you do your sea duty tours, you go to shore. It's kind of your break for a little bit. I went to Monterey to Naval Postgraduate School, and I was serving on the staff there. And while there, on shore duty, you tend to have a little bit more free time. So I had a lot of my weekends off, and that allowed me to start pursuing my next big goal and dream, which was to get into racing. And prior to that, I was like doing a lot of your average Joe track days, right? Going to different track days at local tracks. There's a bunch of road courses in Southern California: Button Willow, Big Willow, Streets of Willow, uh, Laguna Seca's up north a little bit. So there's all these tracks in California, and I was going to them with my personal cars and having fun. And eventually, I was like, you know what, I want to get into real racing, like actual wheel to wheel racing. And at first, I was going to go like the whole SCCA route, and then
Right.
I got introduced to a guy who ended up actually working with my race team years later in 2022 and 2023, but Kyle Wisner, and he introduced me to the whole stock car world, and he thought it would be a good idea for me to go test one because he knew I was like into racing and I had aspirations. So he's like, hey, test a stock car, see if like the stock car route is a route for you. So I never thought that was ever going to be something I would even look into ever. I respect NASCAR, thought it was cool, but like just I didn't see myself going that route. I figured, hey, maybe the sports car world, something like that. I went and tried out a late model, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. And I just thought about it. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be going into racing and going into motorsports, why not try to go into the biggest one in the US, right? NASCAR. Everything else is below it. Like, no matter what anybody says, every other motorsport in the US is below NASCAR. It just is.
Oh yeah.
I'd still
I,
respect them all. I'd love them all, and I would love to race in all the different series. But as far as like people tuning in, watching, the funding behind it, all this and stuff, NASCAR is the number one. It just is. F1 is number one around the globe. NASCAR number one here. So,
yeah.
um,
Sure.
so I figured, hey, let me go that route right there, and I did. Started jumping into late models. Started finding a way to race those more regularly. Obviously, it costs money, so I had to figure out how to pay for it. I was still active duty at the time in the Navy, so I had to start my own small business on the side to help earn some extra income. That income helped me continue to race and go deeper into racing. As I went deeper and kind of started moving up the different levels, it gets more and more expensive and a lot more time
Oh
consuming.
yeah.
So I very much quickly figured out that I couldn't stay active duty forever in the military if I was going to be trying to really take racing serious. So I had to transition to the reserve so I could be a more of a part-time role in the Navy, but then still go after my goals and dreams and be able to do both of them at the same time, even though it's not easy. But
Yeah.
I've found a way to somehow balance it. It's tough. I mean, I've had plenty of weekends where it was, Navy drill like Thursday, Friday, because sometimes we have 4 day weekends, sometimes we have 2 day weekends, sometimes we got to do a full week, sometimes we got to do a full 2 weeks. It's all over the place. So it's just our schedules are kind of weird. But I've had plenty of weekends where I had to, do a Thursday, Friday in some place, and then go do or on Saturday go race, then try to fly back like maybe that night or something, and then do my third day of drill like on Sunday, so I can at least get 3 or 4 days in. Crazy stuff like that. In fact, I raced Vegas in the trucks, and I raced Friday night, and then right after the race took a quick 1 hour nap, and then drove 6 hours to San Diego to do drill Saturday, Sunday. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So
My goodness.
I didn't think I was going to have to split that many weekends of Navy and NASCAR, but it ended up like for multiple years where I literally had to split weekends. In fact, my last race I did in Talladega last year, I did Talladega, flew back, and on that Monday was doing 2 weeks of annual training.
Oh my gosh.
So
That is
yeah,
crazy, man. You just love the adrenaline going, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. So there's your journey pretty much of going from the gridiron and the track where you're running on it
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
track of getting to drive on it. That's kind of like you were saying, it's not the normal route that people take to get involved in motorsports. What other than you saying, obviously it's the biggest in the world. What was it about NASCAR other than that kind of made you kind of gravitate toward that at first?
I felt like it was fun. It was a challenge. It was new to me. It wasn't like I casually followed NASCAR prior to that. I would, when I was a kid, it was actually the only racing I actually would watch. But I wouldn't say I was like a hardcore fan where I was just following it every single week. I didn't know all the drivers, but I generally kind of knew, of different drivers. Obviously, the big popular ones, Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt, Jr. and Senior, Jeff Gordon, all those folks. You hear the names all the time, especially because when I was a kid, that's when NASCAR was, I believe, on like ESPN and some of those other big channels. So it was all over the place, right? And it was, obviously super huge in the 90s and the 2000s. And so like, it was like one of the biggest times of the whole NASCAR era. So, yeah, definitely heard a lot about it, but, I don't know, when I got introduced to it, I just went to go try it out. I was like, hey, I'll go do a test and just test one of these stock cars out and just see if I like it. And after that day of testing, I just really like I said, it was a challenge to figure out the car and learn how to drive it. But to be able to put together a good lap and then put together a good lap, over and over, I knew I was like, yeah, it just, I don't know, it felt like a good time. And I felt like if I could go accomplish that, that would be huge. I wasn't looking to go accomplish anything little. I wanted to accomplish something big. And I think getting into the world of NASCAR and climbing up to the national level, that to me was something big. And it's not something easy that anyone can just go do. So I figured if I can make it work, then I did something, you
Yeah,
know?
that's yeah,
So yeah, that for
yeah,
me, I was, and I was also in my mind realistic about it. Like I'm starting late. I think I started getting into wheel to wheel racing when I was about 26 or 27 years old. So I was, 20 years behind a lot of people. A lot of folks start when they're 6, 7, 8 years old in karts. I didn't start that age. So I knew I was going to be behind. I knew realistically I wasn't going to come in and just go, win all these races and do that. It's funny because there's some fans out there who think I should just be just winning or something. And because I'm not, then I'm this or whatever. I'm like, well, I don't know. I feel like it would be embarrassing to the sport if somebody who had no experience came in and started mopping the floor with everybody, right? Like that, that
that
wouldn't,
might,
it
might
wouldn't, that wouldn't that be weird? Like then what would that
that
say
would
for all
look
the,
good. Yeah,
yeah, it wouldn't look good, Not saying that I can't go in and have some good runs, but like to go in and just all of a sudden be amazing, like for somebody who didn't come from any racing, like I can understand if you come from like, F1 or like even, SVG coming from the sports car world and Australia coming over here. He's like
right.
has a lot of racing in his background. So the transition, you learn a few things and then boom, you come over and still have success. But like to come from absolutely nothing to jumping in and just trying to just go ahead and win, like if I did that, like that would break the whole matrix. So I'm happy being able to come in and run, have the runs that I run, and at the end of the day, if you have a mid pack finish for me, then hey, it's a straight day. If I get a top 15, then hey, that's a really good day. If I finish dead last, then it's not so great of a day, but hey, at least I'm still out there.
You're still out there. You're getting to do something that there's, hundreds of thousands of people at short tracks all across the Southeast that would love to have the blessing and the opportunity to be able to do just even a test like you've been able to do. So yeah, you're right. I mean, even if you don't finish in the top 30 that day or whatnot, you're still out there doing something that there's so many other people that want to do that. So yeah, that is a blessing, and just got to take it how it falls, right?
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. That's the thing. To me, it's a big blessing. Like God gave the opportunity to go after this and go achieve it and go do it. And every time I look back and I'm like, I don't even know if I could recreate this again. Like if I had to start from scratch, so many things had to line up the right way that weren't of my doing. Like I couldn't have written the script to do it. Like I just knew that I had to have the most massive crazy faith, like just crazy faith that not too many people have, especially nowadays. Like, like I had to have this crazy faith that it was all going to work out, that I had seen the vision. It was there. I was going to be wherever I was going to be and I was going to get there, just keep moving. And, I feel like I've been rewarded because of that. Like rewarded the opportunity to be in the sport. Not saying once again, reward doesn't necessarily mean that I was given a chance to go win this and that, just to have a chance to just achieve, just to be here. For me, that was huge. I didn't know if I was ever going to just come in and get one. Like when I did my first NASCAR truck race, I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to do this first race. I don't know if I'll ever get to do a national race ever again, but at least
Yeah,
this one I have right here. Let me go do it. And then when the second one came, in my mind, I was like, well, this is my second one, and it could be potentially my last one ever, but I'm just going to have fun. My third one came. Hey, that's good. Even my last race I did at Talladega last year, I don't know how many starts that is now in the national series, but even that one, I was like, you know what, this might be my last one ever. I don't know, but I'm just going to have fun and just try to make it to the end and finish. And we did. We finished 20th right there in the middle. And yeah, so it's every single one. I just don't know. Like this, who knows if another one's going to come after this for me, but let me just have fun for this one and try to enjoy it, make the most of it, and try to do as good as I can. And hopefully it works out.
Yeah. Before we transition into talking about faith and family and intertwining that in naval service, intertwining that into the chaotic world of racing, I do want to talk to you about one thing that I'm kind of jealous of as a Cowboys fan. A few years ago, you entered into a partnership with Emmett Smith for Jesse Iwuji Motorsports. Thought it was awesome that y'all chose number 34 to honor Wendell Scott and his legacy. Um, Things didn't necessarily work out the way that you guys probably hoped or planned with that venture. But what was it like to get to work with, as a football player yourself, somebody that was as legendary as Emmett Smith? Like I said, I'm super jealous of it because I'm a huge Cowboys fan, and he's like a hero to all of us. Three Super Bowl champions, all time leading rusher. What was it like as a football player, and then as somebody, also trying to do something historical to work together?
Yeah, Emmett, he's been absolutely awesome. And we still all work together. We're not running the same exact program as we were 2022 when we were kind of just doing it all by ourselves and just making it work. Where, now we have this this joint venture partnership thing going on with DGM Racing. Great family, great people over there, great crew, great team, just awesome people overall. So we kind of just joined forces with them over the last couple of years to, be able to kind of have more presence at the track. But yeah, Emmett's been great. He came to my Talladega race. He was there cheering me on and having fun. And, he's a super busy guy. He's become more busy now than he was even when we like joined forces back in 2022. Really, we kind of made our announcement 2021, but yeah, from then to now, he's actually even more busy. I mean, I don't know if you saw over the last Super Bowl, a couple Super Bowls, he's been like there a lot more. They've been having him do more stuff. He's different brands are reaching out to him to do all this stuff. He's like really kind of revamping himself and just up and up and up. So, yeah, but like the time we do get with them, anytime we get to jump on a meeting and he gets to be on a meeting or, he gets to come to a race, like we just, we try to make the most of it. And, yeah, when he came out to Talladega, it was so much fun. He like after the race, we all went out to eat and he just had us laughing with just all his crazy stories from Cowboys days and other things. Like it was a good time. So he's always a really good time. Like, yeah, he needs a book one day. I don't know if he has one yet. Maybe he does, but he needs like a book.
Yeah,
So
he's
much to
probably got
tell.
enough stories to write 2 or 3 books. But
Oh, he could easily,
that's cool to
easily.
hear that he's just as cool of a dude in person and whatnot as he seems like he would be. Just seeing how he interacts with people and different things like that. So that's always cool to hear when one of your heroes actually is, you know, what you hope they are.
Yeah.
So as we transition to kind of talking more about the faith and the family side of things, where does faith come at in your life? Is that something that's always been a part of Jesse Iwuji's life, or is that something that, maybe came along later on in life? Where did your faith journey begin when you came to know Jesus, when you came to know who God is? How does that start for you?
Yeah, I would say it began probably early in high school, like about, I would say ninth grade is, yeah, I would say ninth grade is for sure the first time where it truly started taking a place like in my life because I was, at that time playing football, I had, like I said, I had this big goal and dream to go off to college and play college football. And in ninth grade, I wasn't really great at all at football. Like I was a wide receiver who couldn't catch a ball. I played DB. I was very kind of uncoordinated. I was fast, like in a straight line. That helped me, I guess. And I did work hard, right? I was willing to push myself, unlike a lot of other kids. So I gave a lot of effort and I was fast. So they saw that, hey, maybe with a little bit of fine tuning, or actually a lot of fine tuning, maybe I could become a decent player one day. And the coaches, allowed me to be on the A team in ninth grade because seventh and eighth grade I was like on the B team both years, but ninth grade I finally made it to the A team, and like the faith that I put that it was going to happen, because of all the effort, the grind and the prayer and all that stuff that I put in it, like really kind of showed me like, whoa, like this is real. Like faith is like actually a real thing. Like you, if you have it and you believe and you put action towards it and you just really, truly, truly believe, like things do happen. So I was like, wow, that was cool. And then, I continued it, I was like, hey, prayer and having faith, just it's going to work out. And but once again, you got to put the action towards it. You can't just sit there and say I believe and then just sit back and think things are just going to happen. They're not. Like you got to put action, because that action is your sweat, your equity, your skin that you're putting into the game. And because you're willing to put that skin in the game and you believe that the outcome is going to happen that you've seen because God put it in your head, that like all that together, I believe that like God is like, you know what? Thanks for trusting me, here you go, and he doesn't
Right.
necessarily always put it like there at your time that you want, because he has his plan, right? He has to manage 8 billion people, right? So he has to make sure everything's working, like, and make sure your plan isn't messing up the other plan. So,
Yeah. You think
but
you're busy, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. He's running the world, So, and heaven. So he has a lot, but I think when you put it all together like that, things they just happen. It's so hard to explain to people. I try to give people some experiences and show them, because they're like more than just you know good things like that happening. Being able to get to college football and all that stuff. Like there's been some real miracles that have occurred, and there is no other way of explaining it except God. Like there just isn't. There isn't another way. And like I tell people, more and more, like it's weird. More and more nowadays, I am seeing more people start coming back to faith, but I'm also seeing a lot of people digress. It's like you're either in or you're out. There is no like in between on people right now. They're just like, there's some very hardcore non-believers and hardcore believers. And trying to explain things to the non-believers is tough, because they will mock, faith,
Oh
mock
yeah.
God. It's crazy to me. I never understood why, because I'm like, okay, even if you don't believe, let's just say it just doesn't make sense to you. You just maybe logically, whatever, scientifically, whatever in your mind, it doesn't make sense to you. Okay, all good. But to mock like God, like why? Because I see it like this. Okay, if you're right, if we're right and he's real, God is real, right? Like like there's a lot of amazing things that come of that. But like if
Mhm.
for whatever reason, like if if you're a non-believer and you're wrong, you end up being wrong, like you're that what's the negative? Like if you're right that he's not there, then nothing happens to you, right? But if you're wrong that he's not
Mhm.
there and you're mocking him, a lot of bad is going to happen to you. So why would you mock him? There's like actually there's no upside at all to mocking him at all.
Right.
And people do, they just feel like they can. Um,
I
good
think it
luck.
was C.S. Lewis said that it's better to live. Yeah, it may have been C.S. Lewis. I know I've heard the quote, and I'm pretty sure it's from C.S. Lewis, but it's better to live as if there is a God than to live and die and find out that there isn't, than it
Yeah.
is to live as if there's not a God and die and find out that there is.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's like what you're saying,
Yeah.
like you lose nothing by believing and starting to see, like you were just saying,
Yeah.
the occurrences that happen, the blessings that come out of nowhere,
Hmm.
the person whose family came and immigrated from Africa, and then he plays football at the United States Naval Academy. He
Yeah.
goes and races race cars, and those are huge blessings that if that's happenstance, that's happenstance. But you have to see that it's God at work in your life, like you just said you do. And sadly there's so many people out there that just they would have been like, oh, it's just a coincidence, oh, he just worked really hard at it. That's why it works.
Eh,
No, there's lots of other people that have followed the same route
it's same
that are
thing.
working
Yeah.
hard at it, and it's not worked out for them. So
Exactly, but there like even more than that. Like I mean, I'm talking when I say miracles, real miracles. I'm gonna tell you right now. All right, so in 2018, I was racing ARCA, and middle of the year, we had like a string of wrecks that happened. We had something break at Charlotte, and then I was like, I was going into turn one, it broke. I didn't really have much steering, and I like shot up to the wall, or either. I forget. Yeah, or yeah, I shot up to the wall, and as I was shooting up, somebody like tried to squeeze by, and then it spun me. I hit the wall, and it was all bad, like wrecked. And then we went to Pocono, I think, right after that. And when we went to Pocono, I was, we're going through the what's it called? I forget what the corner is called. It's turn two, basically, turn two. So we're going through turn two, and there was a huge wreck with a lot of people. It was just up in smoke. I was trying to find a hole, but there was no hole. It was just smoke. And I was like, hopefully this is a right. And I'm going through it. Oh, boom, hit someone wrecked. I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, they had all this terribleness happen. And it's already, I mean, when you wreck, it's not free to fix the car. It costs money. So
That's a lot of money.
I was having to spend a lot of money, sponsorship money, and then sponsorship money kind of ran out. And I had to dig into my own pockets to figure it out. So, like I said, I started a business to help fund my racing. So the business was helping fund some of this stuff, but these wrecks were expensive. So, anyways, I started getting behind on paying those bills and trying to pay my normal bills and all that stuff. And basically, I forget how much it was, but I had to like borrow some money from my brothers or something. And going into like August of 2018, I did the math and I forget how much I owed, but I'd like owed like a 20, 30 grand, like to like finish paying off some wrecks, pay my brothers back, all that stuff. So I was like, man, how am I going to get this money? So I had an event coming up that I was putting on. So my business, I put on drag racing events. So I had an event coming up in August, and I did the math, and between the expenses for the event and then profit, I was like, in order to make enough profit, I was going to need to earn about $64,000 from the event. Prior to that, I did prior to that, I had events that had done well up to like 50 something grand or so. But for that particular event that I was doing, I've never had a $64,000 day for that event. So I was like, how am I going to have it? Like, I have to make that money to be able to pay off what I need to pay off. I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to be possible. So I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. I'm like, God, you see obviously what I'm doing. You have this pathway of me of getting into the NASCAR world and all that stuff. I'm racing ARCA. I'm behind on stuff right now. I don't have any money. Like, how am I going to do this? Like, I got to bring in $64,000. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And then the event came. And like I said, I've never, ever, ever made 64 grand for that kind of event. We go in the event, like I'm seeing a lot of people there more than usual. I didn't change any of my marketing. I didn't go spend a lot more money on marketing, do this and that. I didn't do anything really different. I mean, I just did my social media posts, this and that to try to promote the event, but nothing crazy different. We had more people come to that event than we've ever seen before. At the end of the event, we're counting the cash, cutting everything to the T, $64,000.
Oh wow.
$64,000. This is August 2018, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, there's no way in the world that happened to the T. And I basically earned back enough money to pay off what I needed to pay off and do what I had to do. I was like, and that
Oh,
was not the only time that I've ever seen a miracle, but that was just one of multiple that's occurred for me through life. And that was just my other proof. I'm like, no one can ever tell me that he's not real. You just can't. You can't. Like, I've experienced it already. You can't.
yeah. Amen, man. That's good stuff. How do you know, or how do you know that this dream for racing is not like a personal ambition, but maybe would you be willing to say that it's a God calling, a calling that God has maybe put in your life to be involved in that, and pursuing that? Like, football, you could have done coaching, you could have done this, you could have done that, but you saw that racing and you just said, that's what I want to chase after, while still serving your country and serving in the Navy and doing all these other things. But racing, you just kept sticking with. Like, I'm sure you still have the love for football, and I'm sure there's still things that you probably try to do that involves you in that to an extent. But what is it that, like, God put in your heart about the racing world? This just kind of kept you going in it. Do you feel like maybe it's a call He's put in your life to be involved in that area?
I mean, I do. I feel like by me doing that and also serving in the Navy and doing all the other stuff I do, like in the business world, I think putting it all together and doing all of it has opened up opportunities for other people. It's shown other people that there's a lot possible in this world if you kind of couple all the things I've been doing. So, right. So, like by me doing the million things that I'm doing, it shows others that they can do the one thing that they're trying to get to. Right. I think if like I ever decided like I was just going to quit on everything, it would in a way it'd be really detrimental to other people's goals and dreams because wouldn't believe in themselves anymore. I think by others seeing what I'm doing, it gives them permission to say yes to their goals and dreams. I've had so many people reach out to me. They still reach out to me all the time. Like, hey, I'm doing this. I accomplished this because I watched you do this. And because you did it, I said, hey, if you can do that, then I can at least do this. I've multiple people. I get DMs all the time. And every time I see those, I'm like, you know what? That's why I got to keep going. Like, this isn't even just for me. Like, yes, I do have personal goals and dreams and ambitions, but sometimes there's the many things I'm doing really gets tough. But I'm like, I can't stop doing that. I have to because I am helping other people say yes to their goals and dreams. Like I'm helping other people go in a positive direction so they can achieve something. And if I'm not, who knows what direction they're going to go? Who knows what's going to happen next? Whatever decisions they make after that because they didn't go after a goal and dream could affect their family generations down the line. And what if something I did now makes it to where they do something that affects their kids down the road, and because of that their kids end up going another direction down the road? Like something I do now could affect something 30-40 years from now that I don't even realize. So that's why it is important that I go do the right thing, and I do the right thing always, and try to just set the positive example and hopefully be a light for other people to follow and look up to, and go, I can't save the world, but I can do my small part to help as many as I can grow up and succeed.
Yeah. When you look back um, at your journey in life so far, you're, I want to say 38, 39 years old. Is
Eight
that
thirty
correct?
eight, yeah.
38. I'm 2 years older than you, I guess. I just turned 40. um, but when you step back and you look at your path in life that you've taken, football, Navy service, racing, ownership, entrepreneur, it's a very unique journey. So when you look back on it, where, other than like you were just talking about with the finances and God helping get you through that struggle and giving you what you needed to the exact amount, when you look back on all these things, where have you most clearly seen God at work in your journey?
You know what? Mainly when it comes to the times where there's like struggle, right? Because when there's struggle, that's when I know, okay, yep, he is about to start working now, but not just, yeah, oh, he's always working, right? But just you don't see it. So that's where the
Right.
faith comes into play. Because when he starts working, it's almost like, hey, I'm working, but you're not going to see anything from this work unless you start heavily believing that it's going to come. And that's when I got to start believing. Then I remember, you know what? Hey, there's nothing that I can really do with my hands. I mean, I got to put in effort, but I can't make what needs to happen next actually occur. I just got to put energy and effort towards it and keep aiming and trying to get to it. And eventually he's just going to make it happen. And that's where I see him working. It's not necessarily, he doesn't just work and things are just easy. It's like things are hard, but then you get forged into steel and then boom, the sword is there. Yeah. But at first you're just molten molten metal and it's just hot and it's tough and it's not easy, but eventually he cools it all down, forges you, and then you're that bright shiny sword.
I like that. That's really good. That's a very powerful analogy there of how we are. We
Yeah,
are just kind of like I mean, Bible tells us that we are his clay and that he is the potter. But I like that sword analogy is kind of there too, because
yeah.
that's part of the armor of God is the shield and the sword and the belt of truth and all those things. So that's pretty cool. I like that analogy there. So before we close everything up, though, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, though, for someone that's watching this right now, um, you've, as we've recapped so many different times in this conversation, you've done your career and your life seems like a movie. I mean, it really does. There needs to be, even if it's just a made for TV movie or a made
One
for
day
Prime, there
on
should
the
be a Jesse Iwuji
on Lifetime or
uh,
whatever. What is it, Lifetime or what's that channel?
Life at Times,
Life of yeah, something
or
like
yeah, even
that.
a Lifetime movie, however it goes.
Yeah, or
But
Hallmark. I don't know.
yeah, there should be a movie because what you've done and what you've accomplished really is dreams, and there's so many other people out there that and for me, it doesn't even matter on race, because for me, it's like you want to be a race car driver. I
Mhm.
mean, and it just so happens that you're African American. It's just that's just part of who you are. But
Yeah.
there's so many people out there in this world that they have dreams as well. They may want to be a football player. They may want to serve in the Navy. They may want to be a race car driver. So for someone that maybe they're a young boy right now, they see and maybe they are, of the same creed and the same color and culture and everything, and they see someone like you out there in the racing world. They see some people like Bubba Wallace out there in the racing world, Rajah Caruth, LeVar Scott. They see you guys really starting to tear down those barriers that Wendell Scott started tearing down decades ago. Um, what kind of advice would you give to them to keep pursuing that dream and to not give up on
You know what? The biggest thing I can say is life rewards those who stay strong enough, long enough. So that basically means that it's not necessarily about having all the talent in the world. It's not necessarily about having all the funding or all the resources or all the whatever. Life rewards those who stay strong enough, long enough. You have to stay in it if you want to win it. You have to just stay to the end. There's a lot of people who will fizzle out. I mean, from my time starting in racing till now, I've seen a lot of people who have way more everything than me, resources, everything, more experience, whatever. I've seen them fizzle out and they're nowhere to be found anymore, don't race anymore, nothing. And I would have never thought that that would happen for them. I felt like they had everything they needed and they're not here anymore. Um, Life rewards those who stay strong enough, long enough. You gotta stay in it, like no matter what. That's the whole faith thing. That's why you don't. With faith, you can't quit. You just can't quit. Faith isn't faith if you're quitting, right? That means you don't have faith. Like you have to just stay in it. Keep being creative. Keep finding a way. I'm not saying do the same exact thing every day and hope for a better outcome. You got to change it up a little bit. You keep trying this way. Maybe it's not working. Move over here. Try the same thing in racing. You go through a certain line, let's say dirt racing, you go through a certain line on a track and maybe it has grip for a lap or two, but then all of a sudden that grip's going to move around. So you got to keep searching for it, find it so you can keep optimizing every single lap. Like it's going to change. Your tires are going to wear out. The track surface is going to change. The ruts are going to change. The berm, everything's going to change. You got to keep finding the grip. That's the same way, but you got to keep finding that grip in life. Keep finding it, keep being creative and just stay in it because life will reward those who stay strong enough, long enough.
That's good. That's powerful. I like that. Keep finding the grip. You should make that a Jesse Iwuji T-shirt.
Yeah, keep finding the grip.
And that should be like a new bumper sticker, a new racing T-shirt or something. I'm gonna start looking for them at the tracks, man.
Boom.
Little quick rapid fire question, and I think you probably know the answer to this because you played football, you served in the Navy, you own businesses, you do. But if racing and cars, I'm gonna change the question on you versus the other drivers I spoke with because they were like, "Oh, well, I'd go work on classic cars, or I'd go do this," and so I'm gonna change the question for you. If racing and cars disappeared tomorrow, what would you do to scratch that competitive urge and that adrenaline rush that it seems like you're seeking all the
I'd be snowboarding.
time?
Yeah, snowboarding. That's the next
Just watch your
thing.
landings, right? Just ask Chase Elliott, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, you can definitely get hurt. That's for sure. But I love snowboarding. Every winter since -1, every single winter since 2010, since I got to California, I've snowboarded. So like that's my thing. I just keep doing it. I'll keep doing it until I can't do it anymore.
That's good. One of the other questions I've asked drivers when we wrap up I call this the fun time is, what's something that you feel like God is at work at doing in your life, that maybe you could use extra prayers about, or something that you feel Him doing that you're hoping He's teaching you throughout this year, or you already feeling Him teaching you throughout this year?
You know what? Just now that I have a newborn kid, teaching me how to just have patience with that and learn and how to, just be a dad, like that's like I feel like I'm doing all right, but I could obviously be doing even better. You can always be doing better. I'm not perfect, but like stuff like I would say that yeah, because that's the journey. That's a long journey. It's not short.
That's the biggest blessing of all, though, is
Yeah.
biggest blessing of all is being a dad.
Mhm.
I have two grown-up daughters, and then I have a 10-year-old son, and he started go-karting this year, so we're having
Yes.
fun doing that, and basically at some sort of racetrack, whether it be Bowman Gray here in Winston-Salem or his dirt track down the road for his go-karting. But being a dad is an amazing blessing. So congratulations on that. And just from speaking with you, I'm sure you're doing a great job teaching him how to as he grows up, or she is a he or
he, yeah,
it's a he. All right,
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, you got your little Jesse. Is it Jesse Jr.?
Jesse, yeah, Jesse. He is Jesse. Yeah,
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. But yeah, I'm sure you're going to teach him the hard work and the great ethic and great mindset that you have, and I'm sure you're going to be doing a great job as being a dad. So, but yeah, I'm sure the fans and anyone who watches this, they'll be sure to think about you in their prayers and things like that. I do like to close these up with a prayer. I can either lead a prayer or you can pray, however you want to do it, man.
You can lead it. You got it.
All right, let's go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we've been able to come together, and for Jesse to share his story from the gridiron to the starting grid on a racetrack, and how he leans on you for so much, Father. And just ask that you bless his young family, his journey as being a dad, that you just teach him the right steps, teach him the right things, give him the patience that it takes to kind of learn and to just continue to lean into you, Father, for all things. Just bless him and his family. Bless those who watch this, that hopefully the story and the words of his amazing journey can inspire people to keep trying. People who may be financially struggling right now can lean on you and trust in you, and they hear his story of determination and trust in you, and how you delivered what he needed when he needed it, Father. And that this video and this time together and this conversation can just be a blessing to those who see it and watch it, Father. We thank you for this time together again. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great conversation. So, is there one more thing before I let you go? Are we going to see Jesse Iwuji at a NASCAR track this year?
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't have to say
very
when,
soon.
but
Announcement will be coming here soon. Hopefully at the end of this week. If not, then early next week. But yeah, very, very soon. Very,
cool.
Very soon. So yes.
Cool. Yeah, we need some more Jesse Iwuji at a NASCAR track, man.
Yeah. I want to race more. It's just, it costs a lot of money. So you
gotta
it does. Find the sponsorship. You gotta put it together. Put together the deal. But it's not easy.
It's only like a 3,000-mile journey. You're welcome to come. I'm sure I can help find somebody that can get you a late model over here at Bowman Gray sometime. Come out and try that.
That'd be a fun place. I at some point I gotta go race there. That'd be super fun.
It's a little cheaper than Sundays and Saturdays.
Not
much there.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse, thank you so much. I want to again thank you for taking the time to sit with me and talk about your journey in life. And ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your favorite part of the video was. Be sure to check out our Facebook as well. Follow over there. And if you're at Bowman Gray and you see us walking around, stop us, say hi, whatever you want to do. And if you see us at James Norman Raceway for my son's go-karting, stop by and say hi as well. I want to thank Jesse again for joining me. I'm Michael Weiser. This is Fast Faith, where speed meets the spirit. And we'll see you next time. God bless.
Engine screaming, feel the fire start to climb. Living out this passion, one lap at a time. Got that righteous thunder rolling in my